Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, yeah, not too bad. How are you? Oh, look at this face. This charming lad. His name is Chris, is it?
It is. You wouldn't know though.
No. So you've known James for quite a while, is what I gather.
Oh, just a few years, yeah.
Oh, yeah, just here and there. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, you guys came up with a cracking topic when me and James were trying to figure out what to say for this topic. He's just like, oh, I have an idea and I know who to go to. And I'm like, all right. And he thought of you.
I've actually said to Chris that it would be really good for a podcast. And then I was thinking a whole entire new podcast. And then I was like, actually, no, we'll just get him onto our podcast to talk about what he always talks about.
That's the only topic I know.
No, just like you have other topics, but you have a little bit of an obsession with this. That's what I think, but I could be wrong.
I mean, you could be right too, but that remains to be seen.
Yeah. So did you want to go us through, obviously before we begin, obviously it's a story. The people could be fictitious. Obviously, you could bend the truth a little, and any reference to anyone is purely coincidental and not purposeful. So just for that little disclaimer there. And then I guess you can start us off and tell us a bit about the story, I guess. Yeah.
What's the topic? Tell us the topic, Chris.
Oh yeah, gotta tell us the topic as well. You can introduce it, Chris.
All about the matter of I suppose toilet incidents in the workplace, I guess.
Oh.
I'm glad you're allowing me to bend the truth and really put on a show for both of you.
Nice. I love it. Go for it, Chris. The floor is yours.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I'd just, I guess enlighten you on an experience. Possibly good, possibly bad, depends on your stance on these sorts of things. So the topic is, I guess toilet incidents, awkward toilet incidents, shocking toilet incidents, just anything that could take your breath away to do with the bathroom.
Nice.
So this stems from an incident in the last few months. How recent a history would you say, Jane? I'd say it's probably 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, 3 to 6 months, I would say. Yeah.
So 3 to 6 months ago, I just got a nice surprise one day. I was just going about my business, just doing my work as I do, nice and quietly. I just work in the background, get my stuff done. Thought I'd hop down to the bathroom for a minute, just relieve myself, having a bit of water. I'm always well hydrated, so I get down to the bathroom. I do my business, just get that done, and the toilet seat was up. I didn't think anything of it. It's a men's toilets. There's nothing special about that. Thought, okay, cool. I'll be a gentleman because I'm well trained. I'll put the toilet seat back down, and as I put it back down, I just get the fright of my life. I think I probably jumped back about 2 feet. I literally jumped about 2 feet. I couldn't believe it. What I've seen. I've lowered the toilet seat, and there's just a nice. A few crusty demons on the other side of the seat. You could describe it as.
I can see it in my head right now.
There's some friends that I was unaware of. I didn't realize it was a party. There was definitely some friends there, and it was shocking to say the least. I didn't know what to do. I don't think I've ever jumped from a fright before.
Do you think it was from also how in the bathroom how it has that light, and it's
The
like
heat-
really
the heat
hot.
lamp, yeah.
the heat
Oh
lamp.
yeah, it's probably dried it up. I think I was. I
Oh.
mean, it had a bit of morning coffee about it, so I think the beans had roasted by the heater.
So was this in the morning or in the afternoon?
This was in the morning, so this is all
Alright.
pre-lunch.
Okay.
So I don't know. Someone had a wet breakfast.
Just gets you really excited for your lunchtime, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. Well, I think it was probably about an hour before lunch, so I was starting to work up an appetite, but I definitely lost it. Oh man, it was absolutely shocking. I couldn't believe it. It was. I literally jumped back a couple of feet, and I just sort of looked at it. I'm like, I don't know what to do here. I don't know what I do about this. I don't get paid enough about. So just
Left a lasting
turn the light
impact
off,
on you.
turn the fan on, get out of there. Yeah, so that was the crux of the experience. But from there, it was more a question of who and why.
Did you put your little investigating hat on, or did you know who the culprit was? Like
Oh,
well, I had to. Yeah, there was some suspects. There was definitely some suspects. Barry, Brian, Bill.
Nice.
I just
Triple B's. Always
bees.
triple B's.
3 bees. I dropped a borry and it was right on the toilet seat. I just the placement of it too. I couldn't believe how this happens. How does it get on the top of the toilet seat? And clearly, it's either happened in the motion of sitting down, or we've got a squatter on our hands and they just can't have it.
Maybe they have a unique position that none of us know.
Maybe they've gone a reverse kangaroo or something and just. It's anything's possible in the world of toilet humor. You just don't know.
It's funny this because there's normally signs. Have you noticed that there's always signs at the top of like toilets sometimes, and you're just like, why are you stating the obvious? But clearly, this is why.
It's not obvious to everyone apparently.
It's really not. Have you ever been in a public toilet where someone's squatting? You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, actually.
And you can see their shadow.
I've never borne witness to that.
The shadow came across like under the thing. I'm like, what the fuck?
Wow,
it was funny. Yeah.
I mean, it's public toilet, so there's some room for movement there. Yeah. I can forgive the public toilet not wanting to sit down in the public toilet, but a work toilet, we're all friends there, except for this one person that's just clearly spiteful and just hates everyone in the building. It's like, deal with my shit.
Imagine if that was your revenge for like, oh, I'm gonna quit, but I'm gonna do this first. Yeah, I'm gonna do that then. But no, this guy or girl just kept coming back. Like
there could have been a resignation. You never know. Like, there's probably people that may have come and gone that I just didn't know about. I've just
also, you've got to also think like maybe it was a girl. Like that's a perfect excuse then to blame it on the boys.
Oh, true.
Could have been. There's a world of possibilities with this. There's so many questions that are raised and so few answers. That's the thing. Also,
if you're in a rush, I think this person was in a rush considering
they were clearly in a rush.
Couldn't even clean it up. It's also we've got to point out to the listeners at home, it's also the toilet that's closest. So if you have to have an emergency, you would go to that toilet because it's the closest to try and get it in.
It's true. It's true. It's probably got the smallest bowl though, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
These modern toilet seats, they don't give you much room.
Classic.
Gosh, it's like those people that go to the disabled toilets. Like I know from people from my work, they don't go to the men's or the ladies, either or. they go straight to and then they stand outside for the disabled toilets. And I'm like, why though? Like,
do they have to put a sticker on like their forehead or something to show that they're
disabled? Clearly,
mental?
you know, I saw. I'm just like, why are you standing out here? There's clearly a toilet here and a toilet there, but no, they just want. They're like, I want my privacy.
But
For what? Like, you're gonna do like a
What are you
kangaroo or
doing?
something?
Maybe they're gonna do a handstand, a backflip, and then I don't know.
Yeah, true.
maybe they're going in there to eat lunch or something.
Maybe.
Oh my god, like primary school. I don't have any friends. Ew.
Oh,
Maybe their privacy. Around people all day, they just got to have their 5 minutes out.
It's true.
yeah. So, what is your worst experience, Jessica?
I would say
Do you have a
my
shit
God.
story for
I
us?
I do. It is pretty bad. It's pretty bad. You ready, Chris? You ready for a
Oh, I'm not phased. I've
You've been through it
been
all.
to hell and now I'm back.
Oh my gosh, this would have been like, I don't know, maybe March actually last year. And you know, you come in just before my coffee, go to the toilet, this, that, and everything. And just for everyone's information, because I know everyone's dying to hear this, I don't sit on the toilet. I know how to, like, I kind of squat. So I'm just like, okay. So I work
You made a secret appearance at work.
and I'm just like, okay, all right. And then I just go about my business. And then I was beginning, like, I keep doing this. And then as a precaution, I put toilet paper on the seat bowl as well. Somehow I got gastro. And then on top of that, I got something called a capilla virus. And I was like, a capilla what now? When the doctor told me, because I went straight from gastro to this, I don't know, it was some next level where everything was hurting, just from head to toe. Like my hair was hurting, my toes were hurting, I was just dying. And I had to somehow work and be like, oh, I have to call you back. There's been an emergency with one of the computers. And then I just like hang up, and then, yeah, it was really bad. And what it is, it's like apparently really highly contagious. And I was just like, but how though? Is it like airborne? When as soon as I take my pants off, like, is it just flying up my asshole? Like, what's happening right now? But yeah, that lasted about,
It's gone the long trip.
Yeah. It just went right through me. And I remember when we were doing the podcast and I was just like, I'm going to act normal. Half an hour. But yeah, eventually I got over it. It took like, because I went from gastro to this capilla virus, and then I got disastrously like just flu sick, because my body just has been through enough shit. Like it just went through so much. And then my immune system just went. Did everyone hear that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were you acting it out? Or?
No. But it was so bad.
The worst time I've ever had in terms of being like really, really sick was when I went to Bali. I got super sick, and it was to the point, it was to the point where it was just like anything I ate was coming up, and it was going out, both ends.
All around.
So just like basically sitting on the toilet, shitting, then throwing up. It was like the worst experience of my life. But hey, I lost 8 kilos. So
Hey, it's detox.
It's a detox, especially in Bali.
Yeah. So yeah, I got like a parasite or something. Yeah, it was awful. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that was my shitty story.
I haven't fallen victim to these illnesses before, really. I
hope you don't.
I'm just on the receiving end of it. I'm just I just walk in afterwards.
You're like the investigator going, I wonder what happened here.
Is that
I do think it's
yeah, capilla. I was just like, a caterpillar, what now? Then the doctor's like, no, capilla virus. Like, not only do I have to worry about getting COVID, because I was like overly obsessed with that like last year, and now all these other viruses, I'm just like, what?
pillar.
Who knew?
Give
Who
me
knew
the
that was
plague.
Marxism?
Give me the black plague now. Like, God.
You're ready for it? I was gonna say, I think it was a spiteful thing. Like, if you've made a mess and you just leave it, it's pretty spiteful.
That's what. Well, see, that's what I'm thinking. Like, there's a few possibilities here. There's one. It's like that. It just happens. They're in a rush, so they haven't even managed to sit down all the way. They've just gone. They've popped the squat out of necessity. It's just we couldn't wait until they actually got to the seat. It's like they've just hovered and missed the bullseye. And
A hovercraft
and then
with a
because
missed
they're in such a
landing.
rush, maybe they were just in a rush to get out as well, and that no one. Maybe they just wanted to get out before there was any chance of any witnesses as well.
Maybe a workaholic.
No time to clean.
Yeah, maybe a workaholic.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
Back to work.
Oh man, it's in the middle of this email. I really got to get back to this email. No time for this shit.
Did you smell anything as you were like going into like the toilet? Was there any
No, it was
senses? No.
It was it was odorless, and I had no idea. It was on the top of the toilet seat, like the bit you sit on. And I was just like,
how you cannot know that,
because they'd left the toilet seat up to hide the evidence. They didn't have time to clean it clearly, so they just flipped up the toilet seat, hide the evidence, get out of there, get back to the emails. It's a busy day. So they've either done that or they've clearly done it as a setup. Then the other option, just like, it's gonna be so good when they flip this down and notice. It's just like someone just like hiding in the darkness, like just hiding in the dark corner, just waiting for the person who goes in to see me go in there, like, yes, here it comes. They just hear my shock and horror, and probably probably got their little thrills, and then away they went. That did them for the month.
Wow.
Have you had any other shit stories, Chris?
Oh, there's plenty. Work related and social.
Yeah.
There's it seems like there's not far I can go without a shit story. Like it just follows me.
You
attract these things.
Look, there was one when I walked to Melbourne. So I walked to Melbourne with my best mate, and we, for whatever reason, like we weren't even drunk. Like I can't even blame alcohol for it. We went out to a pub to meet one of our other mates, and his missus got angry that he went out on a Friday night. And half an hour out after he got out of the front door, she's like, "You got to come home." And then she drove to the bar and picked him up. He didn't even have a chance to say no. She was there before he even knew it. So it's like 11 at night, and me and my best mate are like, "Well, what do we do now? Like, do we just chill here because this pub's pretty shit, or like, what do we do?" And then we decided we'd walk to Seaford Safeway because it was open 24/7 back then, so didn't have to worry about closing time. We got to Seaford and we were just walking around, and my best mate said to me, he's like, "Oh, do you remember that time like I said we should walk to Melbourne?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, but what about it?" He's like, "Oh, let's do it. Let's do it." So for whatever reason, I agreed. We grabbed 2 liters of water each and off we went. And this is in the middle of summer too. So luckily it was at night when we started, but I tell you what, by the time it rolled around to morning, it was that 2 liters didn't last long. It was dehydration city. And we got to the city, and it was literally, we got to the city, we stayed there for about 10 minutes and then we went home. So we walked 10 hours to stay in the city. There's so many things that happened on the way, but one of them, my mate like just desperately needed to go to the toilet, like just had to drop a deuce, and we were looking for a servo everywhere. And for whatever reason, on the Nepean Highway between like Frankston and Mordialloc, servos close. Like they shut. Who knew servos shut? They're supposed to be open 24/7. But we found like we walked past 3 and they're all freaking closed. It's like, oh man, I've got to go so bad. So we found this reserve found this reserve like down the road, and he's like, all right, I'm jumping in the park, like I've got to go. So he hops the reserve fence, and he just takes a lean on a big tree, and then just goes about his business. And then as he's done it, he's like shuffling leaves together to try and wipe his ass. And all of a sudden this light comes on, and we're like, what the fuck? Someone's like, this light comes on, he realizes he's in someone's front yard and not the reserve that was on the other side of the road.
Oh god,
This is great.
So-
that's so bad.
I was laughing so hard that like we've obviously woken this dude up, and he's like popped the lighter and he sees us in the front. He's like, "Oi, what are you doing?" We just right off and left him a little present. I'm glad he didn't have to get forensics out or anything and track us down, but that was an interesting experience. That was, and I'm sure that ruined his day the next day when he found that in the front yard.
Oh my god, that's quite embarrassing.
It wasn't anything. It was a big landmine, to put it one way.
Oh,
I can imagine this
God.
like perfect grass and then just this plonk.
He nested it in the tree roots. It's so good. Like at least he's fertilizing the tree.
Oh god.
My stories don't even come near this. Tell us more, Chris.
Wow.
Tell us.
There's I think they're probably my best too. I mean, there was another incident at work where it was just like the Loch Ness monster had been left in the toilet for some reason. It's like they needed an industrial pump to get it down or something.
Oh, there's always one. It always happens.
But I've got to say, there is a hero at work though, because he cleaned up both times. Like he just got down to business, and he was just like, you know what, I can't accept this. This has got to go. He just sorted it out. I was like, you're a better man than me. All I can do is laugh.
Classic.
Wow.
And it wasn't me.
It wasn't. No,
I
it wasn't
like now at the end of the podcast, James is like, just to clarify, it wasn't me at all.
It wasn't me.
And it wasn't me cleaning up either. I'm not involved.
Oh,
I've been accused a few times, but it's not me. It's never me. And Jay, we know why.
It would be funny.
I can't do it at work.
You talking about it.
That's my perfect cover story. I'm just too much a shy shitter, so I can't do it at work. Yeah, it's just not me.
Yeah.
oh my God.
You know, that's actually a quite common theme with a few people, is that they will not take a dump while they're at work.
I don't know why I can't. I just can't bring myself to do it. It's not in my DNA. However, I can look at it and have a huge laugh. It's
You like your own space.
exactly. I'm the disability toilet guy. I just need my privacy.
Oh, this explains it.
Yeah.
You're one of
That
those
makes sense.
people.
Yeah. I am.
When
That's why it's never me. That's why
have you ever used a disabled toilet and then had a disabled person knock on it? I have. I felt so bad.
I've whinged about this disabled toilet story like 5 minutes ago, but I've done it too.
Yeah, I was just like, I felt so bad afterwards. I was just like, oh God.
Yeah.
I was like, it's usually never taken. And it was only because, listen to this story. This one was my worst toilet story ever. I went to the usual toilets. This is at my old workplace on the 3rd floor. All the toilets are taken. So I'd like, I'll patiently wait, but actually I really need to go. Like, I've left this a little bit too late. Like, shit. Anyway, so I run to the toilet. I run to the stairwell and go down to the next level. And guess what? Inside there, all the toilets are taken again. I'm like, fuck. That's all I let out, like a big fuck. And then I ran back up. I ran where did I go now? No, I ran all the way to level 4, finally get to level 4, and they're all free. And I'm like, thank fuck. So literally drop my things and just made it. Like, I was just like, thank fuck, I'm at work and I've only just made
James,
it.
maybe it was you.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me, but that's been my closest disaster.
The close
I was
call.
like, fuck. And I went on 3 different, I went down, so went to my usual toilets. There's 3 cubicles, all taken to take a dump. I was just like, no, actually, that's a lie. This is what happened. 2 were taken, and 1 was full of shit and water almost to the top, meaning it's been, you know, what's the word? It's like out of service. Like someone's just taken a shit, it's clogged. Anyway, I was like, fuck. And so I ran down to the next level and there was people all in there. I'm like, of course, the call center, you idiot. Like it's level 2 is the call center. So like, you know, a lot more workers. It's going to be packed as well. And yeah, and then I ran up and I was like, fuck, going back to level 3. Like they're probably still on the toilet. And then I ran to level 4 and I was just like, fucking hell. I just made it. I was just like, this would have been the worst.
Are you proud of yourself that you managed to hold on just long enough? You're like, well done, James.
I was literally like just clenching everything, clenching my mouth.
He's like, don't talk to me.
You can imagine, like, you wouldn't want to run too fast or take too big a stride. Something might slip out.
I wasn't. I was like a little, like, I looked like the same.
Oh no!
You do like a waddle run. You're like,
yeah. It was really funny because I was like so calm about it, and then I was just like, okay, the next one. Oh fuck! I was just like,
did you like look at the stairs?
Like,
and you're like, you see the stairs going up to level 4. You're like, oh please God, no! Just let me get there.
That's what I was like. I was literally like that, and it's the furthest one from the stairwell as well. There's the ladies, and then there's the men's, all the way back on the other side. And when I made it in there, I was just like, thank God.
Well, at least you made it.
No one else was in there, and I was just like, I literally pulled down my thing, didn't even close the door yet. Needed to go.
Just took an open door dump. You're like, I don't have time to close the door.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, so that's my worst close. Yeah, that's my worst close one. I was just like, holy shit. But what was so bad about it was that, you know, when you just need to go to the toilet and you're just so calm about it, but then everything's going wrong.
Yeah,
it just
like,
gets more and more by the second. You're like, you're all good to begin with, and it just keeps ramping up. Pressure gets it.
It's the worst when you're like, you're about to go home and you're just like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. I'm like half an hour from home. I'll just wait. And then haven't been when I'm like driving and I really need to pee and and then you have to go around a roundabout. That shits me because you're just at an angle and you're just like, I can't do this.
I'm like that. Like, yeah, I'm like that a lot. I'm like, I'll just wait. Like, you know, I can't. I'm not hanging back any longer. I've had enough. I want to get home. So I'll get in the car and then I'll be like, oh, I've got to stop the shops. I'll stop the shops. I'm like, I really need to pee. I've got to stop the shops. I'm not going back out again. Like, I'm not going to go home, pee, and then go back out. So I'll go to the shops, and then it's like, Aldi, why the line? Why the line, Aldi? Why so long? It's just like there's always like 8 trolleys full of friggin' shopping like in front of you. For frick's sakes, you're sitting there, you're like in the line, you've got like 2 things. You're like, oh my God, hurry up. Let me go in front, please, God, soul, let me go in front. Finally get there, get home, like, like beeline for the toilet, just straight in the door, shut the door. Hey, how you going? All right, I'll see you. I gotta get a toilet. All right.
Bye.
So funny.
Just like push my kid out of the way, just like get out of the way.
Sometimes I don't even make it because I live at home, like with my parents. And sometimes I'm just like, I don't even have time to fiddle around with the keys. Just let me in.
Yeah. Just a massive no. Especially where I am, the traffic, man. I'm like 10 Ks away from work. It takes me like 35 minutes to get home. It's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
It's like It's like, oh yeah, I'm close to home. Like
It'll
I'll
be
get there.
right.
I'll be fine. I'm all right now. Like I could go, I couldn't go, and then by the time we get home, it's like, oh my god, my bladder's about to explode.
Yeah.
I
It's
I
so
I
relief.
have to go at work. Like I've got an hour drive, sometimes in
True.
traffic,
Yeah,
an
you have
hour and
quite a
10, 20. I'm like, I don't have time. So I'm like, before I leave work, I'm like, do you need to go to the toilet? I feel like I'm
Do you have like? Do you
asking
just have
myself.
like an emergency bottle in your car just in case? You just like,
Nah,
Just
no, but I literally one time the traffic was so bad and I literally got like, and then the lift wasn't working and I got fed up with the lift and I literally ran up the stairs, like had to open my door and literally got in. Like as I'm opening the door, I'm just like unzipping myself and then just came in and just was like, oh my God, thank God. Like again,
I thought-
close call.
I thought the story was going to take another direction when you're saying you were like
Nah.
annoyed at the lift. I thought you were just going to say, oh, so I pissed all over the buttons. I was like, fuck you, lift.
Imagine if I did that. That would have been pretty nasty.
it's like the doors open and it's a child going.
Yeah.
I never seen that before. Aw, good stories, guys.
The one thing that annoyed me was that there was this shit in the lobby and I wasn't sure if it was human shit or it was dog shit. I wasn't sure.
Have I told you
I
at work?
wasn't sure.
Have I told you at work my dad's like son, like father-son footy match shit story? Might have been my neighbor at work that I told.
Oh, okay.
But I long story short, there was a father-son at my footy club when I was a teenager, and we've gone to so it's like 7:30 at night. It was a night game. It's under lights. I'm starting on the bench. Like I go to sit down on the bench. I realize like everyone, like the other three kids on the bench are like sort of curled up towards one end of the bench because we had like a proper like covered area for the bench. It's like, you know, a shelter. And I'm like, okay. And I'm sitting in the middle of the box. And like I just get this waft. I'm like, what's that? And I just look down the other end of the friggin' shelter, like the bench. And there's just this huge friggin' curly turd just like sitting on the end of sitting under the end of the bench. So like some homeless dude's just probably like slept there the night, just taking a shit on the bench, thinks it's funny and like walks off.
Nice.
So I'm like, oh my god! So I'm like, I go curl over at the corner with the other guys, and then I don't know why, but I was one of my friends' mum did the scoreboard. She did the scoreboard every week, so she went to go into the scoreboard booth, and I don't know, I can't remember why I was there with my friend, but like anyway, he's like saying, you know, bye mum, see you after the game or whatever, and she goes to open the door, and she just like sort of stops and like takes her hand off the handle and just looks at her hand, and she's like, oh, she's got this like, so just like someone's like wiped shit all over the steel handle of the door, and she's like spread her fingers, and there's this nugget hanging off her freaking pinky.
My god,
Like,
that's traumatizing.
I was like, oh my god.
Wow.
You know what's the worst thing that ever happened to me was when I was in San Francisco just before the pandemic in 2020 in February. No, it was March. So right before it all hit off, COVID, a homeless guy in San Francisco literally walks out from his little shelter on the side, his little blanket and like pillow off the side on the sidewalk, basically steps out in front of me, pulls down his pants and takes a shit.
Did you just watch it for the whole duration?
I was just like,
all right,
I was just like horrified.
Did you tip him?
I like jumped off. I jumped onto the road and was just like mortified. Like, what the fuck?
Americans.
I've never seen I've never seen a homeless person just do that. You know, like I've
Just
seen
so
homeless
nonchalant
people,
about it,
but
too.
like just not a care in the world about it. It's like, this is normal. I can just pull down my pants
It's
and
like,
take a
I'll be
shit
me.
right here on the sidewalk.
Wow, the freedom.
They landed the free, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently they've got cleaners for them. Like cleaners will
Really?
come clean up the human feces.
It's become
Man,
an issue.
Maybe they need to look at hiring our work hero, because he's not
Oh,
afraid. Get down to business and just get it done. He's like,
Yeah.
homeless people, I'll clean up after them all day, every day.
Yeah.
Doesn't worry me.
Oh god. We've got a
Classic.
time limit, lads. It's about to go in like, I don't know if you guys can see it, 3 minutes.
3
Okay.
minutes.
Or is it
I
just
can't.
me?
Yeah.
I think it's just you.
So
It's
I guess
interesting
we
because
just-
when me and James talk, we don't get this time limit. We get more than like an extra person. You have a time limit.
It's a conference now.
It is a
Yeah.
conference of shit.
It's a shit conference.
it's a shit company. Yeah.
But thank you, Chris, for joining us.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris, for coming on the
You're more than
to our
welcome.
show.
If
You've
You've
enjoyed
been a
it.
delight. You've been a fun delight.
if the topic rolls around again, just hit me up. I'll share a few more stories with you. I've still got some in the bank.
Nice. Love it.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Okay. Bye.
Catch you later.